Hi, everyone. We'll be on in a little bit. Let's give everybody a few more minutes to join. See you soon. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. I'm Catherine Scaramuzino, the Director of Guidance. If you could just do me a favor, please, and make sure that your microphones are muted so that we don't have any feedback. You will have some time at the end of the presentation to ask questions. If you hear or see any glitches, just unmute yourself and speak up to let us know. Thank you. So, welcome to the junior parent presentation. Like all things we do at RBC, we'd like to begin with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, be with me today in my studies, improve my work habits. Allow me to appreciate my friends, give me a moment to see their goodness. Help me to always be faithful to these dear people. Continue to inspire my teachers, counselors, and coaches who have inspired me. Bless my parents and family, they are everything to me. Help me find my way to my loving Father through you. Share with me a sign of my calling. Give me good ears to listen to your voice, and give me the strength to follow your lead. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So before I share my screen and we begin the PowerPoint, just a little bit of information. Don't worry so much about taking pictures and about writing notes down. This PowerPoint is already posted. It was posted this afternoon on the guidance website. So you go on the RBC website, you go under guidance, under junior class, and you scroll down and you'll see this PowerPoint. So anything that you may want to review, any links, anything that we talk about, you can go back and look at those slides, and you can print things out for yourself as well. Before we introduce the counselors, just a few things. PSAT scores, they should be in your collegeboard.org portal by November 16th. I just saw that they were uploaded to my coordinator's portal, so you will see them within a day. You can create a collegeboard.org account if you don't already. We'll go through that during the presentation as well. Individual parent and student meetings will begin in December. Like usual, you'll get an email from your counselor with the date and time, and if that doesn't work, just please email them back and to find an amiable time and date. Standardized testing, we have an in-school SAT in April on the 16th, and Mrs. Fellingham will review that again. That will be digital, so you have another shot at taking a paper SAT. We are hearing from College Board that you cannot super score a paper SAT and a digital one. So you guys are a transition group. So I'm not sure if you've taken a PSAT on SAT on paper yet, so you may want to take another one coming up this winter. Begin your college searches. We'll talk to you about that today as well and show you how to do that. So last two things, be careful on social media. It follows you everywhere. Many of these colleges are looking at your accounts to see what you post. And lastly, that guidance is always open. We are a team. If one of your counselors is not available, there is someone there to always help you and answer your calls. So I'm going to share my screen, but first I'd like to introduce our team. We have Mrs. Mindy Fellingham. Welcome, juniors. Miss Catherine Buckman. Hi. And Mr. Ted Jarvis.
Good evening, Casey's.
Okay, with that, I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment. And then we will present. Mrs. Fellingham will present a lot of the PowerPoint, and we will chime in. So save your questions for the end, please. Okay.
Okay, we are rolling. Good evening. Thank you for joining us at the dinner hour. I'm hoping you are sitting with your daughter or son for this presentation, because really this is geared at you juniors and how to start the college process. We really want you to begin to think about it, start to make a college list, and then we really encourage you to go visit colleges in the spring. Next slide. So here is our guidance department. We've all introduced ourselves. You've met the counselors. We also have freshman counselors. They're listed there. We also have a student assistant counselor, Mrs. Booth, who works with our students on social emotional problems, as does Ms. Bergen, our social worker. And then very important people in guidance are our secretaries, Mrs. Tina Brindell and Danielle Chaffee. They will be your first line when you come in to welcome you into guidance and direct you in the right direction for your counselor. Our website, so important. I encourage you to look at the website often. There are some great news stories on what is happening. Right now we have a Thanksgiving food drive. It is not too late to submit your items for the food drive tomorrow and Thursday, I've just found out. We are also doing a book drive for Tower Hill Presbyterian Church is going to host 250 families coming there to do some Christmas shopping, and they want to give a new book or a gently used book to every child that comes in the door that second weekend in December. So if you have some old children's books lying around or you want to purchase one, please have your child bring them into the library. There's a big box where we're collecting them. So our website for guidance is right prominent on the tabs. When you go onto the website, you can see that we include each year what you should be concentrating on. And for junior year, it is the college planning, scholarships, financial aid is mentioned, summer programs, and resume building. So most important we want to discuss tonight is really what are they looking for? What is that college admissions team looking for when they're reviewing you as an applicant for their school? So the colleges are looking at your academic record. First and foremost is your transcript. You'll actually get a transcript next September when we have our senior guidance meeting. It will be emailed to you so you can review it for any errors. And that transcript is what we will send to the colleges. The difficulty of course load, we're going to talk about that tonight. In our individual parent appointments with you and your student, we're actually going to discuss classes for next year and what some of your thoughts are on what you want to take. You are the first class to schedule in early February, so it's important to start to think about that. SAT and ACT scores, we'll discuss that, but most colleges are still saying they are SAT optional. Where do you find more information out about that? Go to your college website under admissions, and they will explain what their policy means. Letters of recommendation, very important. You juniors will go and ask 2 teachers for a letter of recommendation in May of this year. You want to do it before the summer because a lot of teachers like to write their letters over the summer. So we will encourage you to ask them before you leave. Usually it's a junior year teacher, but it could be a teacher junior that you've had for 2 years and they know you well. Your college essay has become much more important now in the process, especially with schools being SAT optional. They're telling us that they are looking carefully at the essay to see your writing ability and to also learn more about who you are through that college essay. That is your way of personalizing your application. We've always talked about extracurricular activities. We have very involved students here at Red Bank Catholic. Personal interviews, more and more colleges are doing that since COVID. They actually might offer you a virtual interview. So you would go online and schedule that. The newest thing probably in the last 2 years is this SRAR. This is a student-reported transcript and really has been very time-consuming for our seniors this year. This is where you have to type in your entire transcript. Schools like Rutgers, Penn State, your bigger universities will ask you to complete an SRAR. Community service is always important and welcomed by the colleges. Any special talents you have, from athletics to performing arts, or maybe you play an instrument, that is always looked at. And then demonstrated interest. When you go to college fairs, when you come to hear the college reps that come through here, we have 120 that came through and met with our seniors this fall. That is demonstrated interest. So we wanted to show you again what a transcript looks like. We have shown these in our parent meetings, but you're gonna see that it lists your 3 years of grades. It also lists your attendance, and the bottom left, it lists your 3-year GPA. I want to point out that your courses in progress, those are your senior year courses, colleges will review that. They want you to take a competitive senior year of courses, not an easy year. And then on the right is our grading scale. We often have parents ask questions. How does a college know how competitive RBC is with their grades? Maybe your public school has an entirely different scale. Colleges are very aware that RBC is a highly competitive school. In our school profile that we send with transcripts, we list how many AP classes we have here, how many honors classes we offer. It gives the college reps a very good idea of how competitive we are. And then these reps have visited us in the fall, and they really do know Red Bank Catholic well.
Also on the transcript, if you can just look, your attendance is there and your tardies. So make sure you're mindful of
Before I talk about the PSAT, I do want to just mention about Brookdale. Some students may not be ready to go on to a four-year college, or some may not want that huge financial commitment that a four-year college involves. We are so lucky to have Brookdale right here in our backyard. I had just copied an article here that ranks Brookdale in the top 3% of community colleges in the United States. They're in the top 3%. They offer one of the best transfer programs in the nation. They maintain formal agreements with many universities so that the courses you take at Brookdale will transfer to that college, allowing you to get your degree in 4 years. So I do want to mention that as an option. 89% of our students here go on to four-year colleges, but we do have a percentage that will go on to Brookdale, and we have great relations with Brookdale. They actually come here and offer the AccuPlacer test. So we want to talk about the PSATs. Juniors, you took that in October. How did you feel about taking it digitally? Was that a good experience for you? It's the first time you had to do something like that, so it was a new thing for us here at Red Bank Catholic to get you online, and it was certainly new for you to take it that way. You will get your scores, but you have to go in and get the scores. We are not sending them to you. You have to go into College Board and establish an account. And then you will use that username. Again, students, this should be your email address and your password to get in, because then this will be the mechanism you use to send your scores to college. It is your responsibility to send your SAT or ACT scores to the colleges that you want to have them received. What is PSAT used for? It does not go on your transcript, as I mentioned. It is used for national merit scholarships. So you have to have extremely high scores to qualify for a national merit scholarship. The index number is usually up in the 230s. If you lived in the state of Alaska, it would be more in the 150s. So you do live in a very smart state here, and it is hard to earn that national merit scholarship qualification. The PSATs, again, are a chance for you to take a practice SAT. It's actually linked with Khan Academy. The next slide, I think, will show you. You can do a personalized study with Khan Academy. You enter the code that you receive when you go in and look at your scores. There's a code there, and it will connect you with Khan Academy, and it can go over the questions that you struggled on. It can help you come up with the right answers. So this is Khan Academy. A lot of our students use this for extra help in chemistry, physics, any of our math levels of classes. It's a great free tool online that students can access. So selectivity of admission. Juniors, what you're trying to do is get a college list together, which we will help you with when you come for your junior appointments. And what you're going to try to determine, you'll start with 15 or 20 colleges, and then by visiting, you will kind of narrow that list down. But the selectivity you want to have on your list, if you've done your research well, 6 to 8 schools, 1 or 2 will be reaches, 4 to 6 will be targets. And the target, so a reach is a school where it's a little bit above your GPA and SAT score. A target will be where it's right in where they're taking RBC students with your similar GPA. And then a quality safety is where you're above where they've been taking a lot of students from Red Bank Catholic. Your safety is usually where you're going to get significant scholarship money because they really want you to attend their school. That's probably the hardest category school for you to find. You have to find one you feel comfortable with as a safety school. So there are different plans of how you apply to your colleges. The first one being early decision. This is a binding way of applying to colleges. You actually sign a contract with your parents saying, I will absolutely attend this college. They actually have a form that guidance has to sign saying, we have told you that you will absolutely go to that college. Not many kids, a very small number of kids can make that decision for early decision. So you want to think about this carefully if you want to do this. You also will not know your financial commitment. You will not know what your scholarship is at this college. So those are the two drawbacks. The positive way of applying for this direction is that there are smaller number of students in this pool, and it may give you an advantage if you apply early decision. So we also list restricted early action. You cannot apply to an early decision school if you are doing a restricted early action school. So I have a student applying to Georgetown. She couldn't apply to Boston College restricted early action or early decision because she was already doing the early decision to Georgetown. So early action is pretty much what most of our students here at Red Bank Catholic apply under. The early action is not binding. Students have to have your applications in by the November 1st or November 15th deadline. And then the advantage of that is that by December or January, you are hearing back from the school whether you got in. And then you do not have to make the commitment to that school until May 1st. So we really encourage students to come right out of the starting gates in September, having their applications done, getting them off to their colleges so they can go under this early action plan. Students, if you look outside guidance, you have to look above our doorway. You will see there are 12 letters of acceptance already from students who have applied to colleges.
Also, if you're applying to any southern schools, you should look at the early action dates because they may be October 1st or October 15th. They're usually earlier, South Carolina, Auburn, so be careful with those dates as well.
And then regular decision, we do have some students apply regular decision. These might be students that did not have a great junior year and really want to show some great higher grades for their senior year. That would include their first semester grades. If you apply regular decision, that's usually a January or February deadline, and then you will not hear back an answer from the school until the end of March, giving you just 4 weeks to make your final decision. That's regular decision. And then finally, rolling admissions. That's an interesting way of applying if the college offers that. Once you get all your documents into the school, including your application and our supporting school documents, within about 3 weeks, you will hear back from that college if you have gotten in. So that's the rolling admissions.
All of these deadlines are predicated on you getting your application in prior to whatever deadline you choose to pursue. If our information gets there before you actually apply, it's not a great look. It's important that your application be in first, followed by our information.
And we're hoping, juniors, you will start a better trend than possibly your friends this year, senior class, because we were seeing a lot of kids apply October 31st for a November 1st deadline. You really want to strive to get your application in on the earlier side. It just shows that you're motivated to go to that school.
And you get a better read. The earlier you get your application in, the less applications they're reading.
Right. So here's how to research these colleges. Of course, we have Naviance, and we're going to show you how to do a college search, how to research the college. Virtual tours, ever since COVID, colleges have spent a lot of money on updating their virtual tours. So that's a great way, juniors, to see if this college has any of what the qualities you want that to be at your campus, taking that virtual tour online. Then there are all sorts of great guidebooks that you can get in Barnes & Noble. I think that's a great way to start the search process. Just go by state, look up different colleges. The Insider Guide to College is written by college students, so you get a feeling for what kids feel about the school. We use RUGS all the time in guidance because that man went and researched what are the strongest majors at different colleges. So again, utilize any of these guides that we recommend. And then, of course, going to the college fairs. There was one at Monmouth University this fall, and there'll be another one this spring. Those are the admissions counselors that may be reading your application, so it's a great chance to meet them at the college fair. And again, showing demonstrated interest. They're recording your name when you meet them, so they know you are interested in their school. So what makes a good college for you? What are the factors that are important to you? Is it the location? Is it the majors and the programs? Can you get a master's there or a doctorate? What are your impressions of the school? How can it be a good match for you? Do you like to do a lot of activities? Do you like to do a lot of sports? Is it a very active campus? Is it located in the city where you have a lot of access to outside activities? You need to try to assess what's important to you in that college so it's a good fit for you. We do really recommend visiting colleges. And I wrote down some of the dates that you are off from school coming up. And this would be a great chance when you're off already from school, juniors. December 8th is a day off from school. February 19th. March 6th is a testing day here, but you are not involved in that testing. And March 28th to April 5th is your spring break. You do want to, if you're going over spring break to see these schools, you do want to book early because that's a time when everybody's out there going to visit these college campuses. Very easy to book. You just go online to the website, you book your time, you even get a parking pass right from the website.
You are given 3 excused absences as juniors, so you bring back the registration paper to prove that you were at the school. So that's a good thing to take advantage of as well.
And you can take advantage of virtual student professional panels. You could see if they offer an interview with one of the admissions rep when you're going. And again, we encourage you to attend the reps that come to visit here in the fall. We will post that on Naviance. Also, if it's in your college list of colleges I'm thinking about, you'll get an email that this college is coming to visit here at RBC.
Those of you that are athletes that are attending showcases in your particular sport, really look to see if the school that you're interested in at the highest level is having a showcase, because you kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, great idea. These are helpful websites that you can go on. Again, you're going to use that Common App website a lot. That does not open up for your year until August 1st, so you don't want to go out in now and establish your username and password. That's really not until August. There's the College Board website on how you will get your PSAT scores. There's the ACT website we've listed there. The fairtest.org, we used to refer to that all the time. That used to provide a list of all the SAT optional schools. But as I mentioned, most schools right now are still maintaining their SAT optional policy.
If you use this PowerPoint and come to this page, take a picture, it's one-stop shopping for a lot of the.
So what college is right for me? You're trying to figure that out. Where, how big, what will I major in? Will I be admitted? Majors, again, Mr. Jarvis, as I always said, go into the process with 2 or 3 majors in mind because you may change your mind. See that those majors have strength at that college. What do admissions counselors consider? What are they looking for? First and foremost is your transcript. That is a record of your 3 years here, your grades, your strength of schedule. Maybe juniors, you are thinking about taking an honors class next year. I would be looking at the curriculum guide. What grade do I have to have at the semester to qualify for that honors class next year that you want to take? Maybe you're thinking of an AP class. What grade, again, do I need out of my honors class to go into an AP class? Strength of schedule is important. Scores are still optional, as we've talked about. That is something, when you look at the scattergrams, which we'll show you on Naviance, if you're not in that average range, you might consider going SAT optional. Again, as I mentioned, each college has their own kind of rules about SAT optional. For example, Auburn University requires you to submit your SATs if you have a GPA lower than a 3.6. That's Auburn. Most Florida schools, big schools, are requiring you to submit an SAT score. So again, students, it's your job with your research, and I know you're all very tech savvy, going in on the websites and checking out what they need. You might even want to do a spreadsheet. You're all very good at Google spreadsheets as to what each college is requiring. Activities resume is a great thing to present when you're having an interview. That's a list, a one-page list of all the things you've been involved in during your high school years here. We talked about the importance of essays. Your teachers here, English teachers, guidance counselors, we're happy to read your essays to give you some comments and feedback on them. And then I really want to highlight recommendations. So parents, we're actually giving you homework tonight. You need to complete the parent brag sheet. It is found on our website, and this is so helpful for all the counselors here because you provide us with specific details of why you're proud of what your child has accomplished during their high school years here. The more specific you are, the more specific we can be. And then juniors, your responsibility is to hand in the recommendation questionnaire. This is a 3-page form for you to fill out that tells us what activity are you most passionate about that you've participated in? What academic work or project did you do during your 3 years here that you're most proud of? What are your future goals? So again, carefully complete these 2 forms and please give them to us by the end of junior year, the spring of junior year. I know myself, I like to write recommendations during the summer. It's helpful for us to have those forms ahead of time. Then you're going to ask a teacher, 2 teachers actually, this spring, not until May, to see if they would be willing to write your letter of recommendation. Some teachers get hit harder than others. So again, on the early side of May, you want to ask these 2 teachers. Teachers too like to write some letters during the summer because they are very busy when school starts up again. And then interviews are recommended. We've had some of the college reps come through here and offer to meet a student right at Starbucks in the Grove, and they do an interview with them right there. So take advantage of any interviews. And then I really want to highlight this bottom icon here. RBC offers a 1-week summer common application essay class. During 2 different weeks of the summer, Mrs. Scaramazino and Mr. Jarmus teach this class in that they help your child complete their common application in 4 days, Monday through Thursday for about 2 hours. They are in the library. They are doing the Common App, they are completing the essay. We had over 65 students do this class. You can sign up for this in the spring when we do our summer enrichment class program. You can pick the week that works for you. Highly recommend that. Those students were so calm coming in September, having already completed the Common Application.
Especially fall athletes, right? You're so busy in the fall. And it's so much to do. So we sit there and we kind of force you to get it done, and you can ask us a lot of questions and then get a good draft of your essay. You can start supplementals and then continue to share that with us as the year starts. So we will let you know more about that in the spring.
And the fall athletes that did participate in August, we didn't have any conflict with coaches at all. They're very understanding and their priorities are in order.
That's good to hear. So what should you consider, junior students here? What is important to you? Do you want an urban, a suburban, or a rural setting? I just had a student come by this week saying, I am so glad I visited this college. I had no idea it was in the middle of nowhere. And she was no longer interested in applying to that school. So important, that visit. How far do you want to be from home? Is it a plane ride? Is it a car ride? Is there a good public transportation to and from where you're going to? What kind of rigor do you want at your college? Do you want it to be every weekend, everybody's in the library studying? Ask about academic rigor. Ask what they do on the weekends at your college when you visit that school. What size is most comfortable for you? Do you want your class sizes more like RBC, 24 to 26 in a class, or are you good with a lecture size class of 150? These are really important factors to consider. Do you want a sports team that everybody goes to the football game on the weekends? Is that an important extracurricular for you? Your major, does it exist at your school? Can you even go on for a master's at your school? And then financial aid, what kind of financial aid is offered? If you go on a college website's financial aid page, you can actually see the kind of merit scholarships they give out based on your GPA and sometimes your SAT score. So we really, before you come in even to your junior meeting with us as counselors, we want you to have reviewed or looked at the curriculum guide. You can find it on our school website under quick links. That's a tab at the top of the website. You click on quick links and the curriculum guide is posted. So you can get an idea of the types of classes that we offer. It's a great opportunity for you to start to explore some career classes. We have next year for you psychology classes, sociology, CAD, electronics and programming, engineering, intro to fashion marketing and fashion merchandising, a criminology law class, a forensic science class. Really a great opportunity to take some classes that you might be interested in pursuing at college. Some colleges do require a fourth year of science. We have found that in some of these bigger state universities down south. So again, you want to research that. If they require a fourth year of science, you need to put that in your schedule next year. And a lot of colleges like that fourth year of math. So Naviance, we've already kind of introduced you to that last year, but now you could do an advanced college search on your Naviance program. It starts with 4,000 colleges and you narrow it down based on state, size, location, sports, majors. So that's a great way to start doing your college search. Here's where we want you to start building your college list under colleges I'm thinking about. It's a brainstorming list that you can, and your parents can go in and add colleges to colleges I'm thinking about. Here's that college search again. It's called the Advanced College Search, and this is just what it looks like. You're choosing 2 or 4 year. It's just gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions to narrow down your list. And here you can do the scattergrams we're pointing out. We're doing college, I can't remember.
Compare, the college compare and the scattergrams help you compare lists of colleges and programs and where you fit. The scattergrams show where you fit on their scale with SAT and GPA in comparison with other RBC students the past 3 years.
I also want to point out on that first slide where you are starting your advanced college search, Ms. Bellingham has put a bunch of groups together over the years, and there are groups of colleges like 7-year med programs and things of that nature. That can really give you an opportunity to start the ball rolling.
So we're just pointing out the different tabs that you can start to experiment with. Great thing maybe to do over your December break, to start building your list, doing the scattergrams. Here's what a scattergram looks like. We probably showed this to you last year as well, but it's, if you have a college, under college I'm thinking about, you click on the college, then you click on the admissions, and you can see by virtue of the last 3 years how our students, Red Bank Catholic students, are getting into this college by virtue of their GPA, and their SAT score is at the bottom. The GPA is what I highlight here. You can see the boxes around the check mark, and this is for Loyola, means that these kids applied early action. And again, that's what most of our students will do. The blue dots are wait lists. That little blue man over to the left, that's you, or that student on the graph. So it actually plots you on the graph too, so you can see what you have to do to be a viable, that could be a target school. For this student, it's looking more like a reach.
That vertical dotted line for SAT score is a very, very valuable resource to know whether you want to use your SAT score or not, because it tells you what they're looking for. In addition to that, the horizontal dotted line, if you're going test optional, it really is in your best interest to be at or above their GPA line.
Yeah. Some colleges will even help you if you should ask the admissions rep, should I submit my scores or not? They may guide you in that area. So the SAT, as I said, we usually recommend you take it in March of your junior year. As we've mentioned, it is digital starting in January. So juniors, if you really want to take a paper and pencil SAT, the last one is December 2nd, a Saturday, and you have already missed the regular deadline, but there is a late registration deadline of 11/21. So you can search any public school where you live nearby, and they would be offering the SAT. You could take a paper and pencil SAT. The ACT is still paper and pencil. This has 5 sections on it: English, math, reading, science, and writing. So there's a difference. There is a science section. And students tend to find this easier than the SAT. They feel the math is much more straightforward. Some of the reading passages they may recognize from their English classes. So we always recommend taking both the SAT and ACT to see which score you do better on. Both are used equally. No school prefers one over the other. So we would recommend you take one of each in the spring of your junior year. There's actually a free ACT you can download if you go to that ACT.org, and there's a free ACT you could download to see what that science section looks like.
The other thing is the ACT gives you 2 math scores, one that is algebra 2 and below computation, and one that is trig and above. So if math is not your best subject, you can show dominance on one of the math scores.
So we've given you here all the deadlines. If you don't have to pay the late registration deadline, I would recommend that. We've given you here when you have to register by. You usually go to your local public school. We no longer offer it here at RBC on a Saturday, but as Mrs. Scaramuzino mentioned, we will have an in-school SAT digital April 16th. You will get a notification about that to sign up here. It's much more comfortable usually to take it in your own school.
It's a no-brainer. You should circle that day right now and make sure you have a comfortable setting.
Yep, April 16th. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Jarmus for dual enrollment.
We have 21 dual enrollment courses that are, our teachers are certified at Seton Hall, Stockton, and Delaware. They take the courses right here in our building, and it's basically the same thing that you'd be doing if you weren't doing dual enrollment. The only difference is you pay a fee to register at that school, and your reward for taking the class and paying a fee is 3 college credits at that school. If you want to do a little forerunning right now, you can go to Naviance, and your schools that are on your colleges that I'm thinking about. The last word on your dashboard is more. Click on more. It says send an email. You can cut and paste 15 emails in 4 minutes, including the classes that you're planning on taking dual enrollment, and find out if that school is going to accept it or not.
Yep, that's a great idea. Our pathways and concentrations, last year was the first year we had 25 seniors complete a pathways. This was designed for kids that have an interest in a certain career area and are knowing that earlier in their high school career. To complete one of these, we actually have the checklists available in guidance. To complete a pathways, you need 4 courses within the focus area. Again, the checklist will show you what courses qualify. And then you have to do a final project, a capstone, or an internship. Our internships are set up by Mrs. Booth, where these are RBC alumni that offer students to come to their workplace and they job shadow that RBC alumni and learn more about that job. So that is the internship experience, usually done in senior year. A capstone is a program where a student has an interest in a certain area and wants to do more research. That could be a paper. We've had a student write a book of plays, short stories, do experiments on the computer. We actually had somebody make a digital hand. That was so cool through robotics and engineering because her aunt was handicapped and she wanted to make a digital hand through 3D imaging. So it's a great opportunity, students, if you have a certain interest in a certain area. You would see Mr. Nessie, who is in charge of our capstones. A lot of them start in your junior year summer. So again, that's something we can discuss in your junior parent meeting if you have an interest in that area. Here are some useful apps that students you could put on your phone. Could be a way to flashcard you with some vocabulary for the SAT or some math problems, but these are helpful apps. Just to give again a summary of how the whole process works, students are trying to figure out those 4 different areas: size, location, extracurricular activities major. I've talked about what the colleges are looking at, your transcript, your strength of schedule, maybe your SAT scores. The school counselor is involved because we are guiding you, helping you get that list together. We're the ones that send out all your school documents to the schools where you are applying. Usually you start with 10 to 30 schools and your final list will be 6 to 12 schools. We send all documents in digitally through Naviance, actually. We send them online. Your transcript, your recommendation letters, everything goes through the Naviance system. College interviews, we talked about them being important. They are optional for schools. They can't require you to do this, but this is allowing you to personalize your application. So for an interview, we want you to be dressed neatly, to take it seriously. You should have researched the college ahead of time to know what they offer, internships, co-ops, what their major offers. Be prepared to talk about yourself. One of my students was getting interviewed by Georgetown, and we did a mock interview together where she described her activities, and I helped her summarize how she should describe all the wonderful activities she's been involved in, including leadership. Pay attention to the questions that they're asking you. Good eye contact is important. And then it's always okay for you to write down some questions on a note card. And just that reminds you of what you want to ask that admissions counselor.
And we're always willing to do mock interviews prior to you doing an important interview. We have lists of questions and we'll put you through the paces.
Yep, and it just increases your confidence. Here are some sample questions that you could ask a college. We're giving you some ideas.
You can always print these out when you look at the PowerPoint at your own leisure.
And these are some questions they may ask you, the one before. So a lot is about, tell me about your school. What is Red Bank Catholic High School? How big is it? You're going to talk about how competitive it is. They might ask you, have you considered a major? For some schools, you have to apply to a certain school, like Syracuse. Are you applying to the arts and sciences, the architecture program, the engineering program? So that's where you would have to know something about your major.
And familiarity with the school that you're interviewing with is paramount. We've had Boston College say to us when we meet with their admissions counselors, we don't want to hear how much you love the city of Boston. We're in Boston. We know about Boston. Tell us what you know about us and what is intriguing to you about us.
It's reminding me also about Holy Cross. One of my students once was waitlisted at Holy Cross, and she really was not a candidate, they felt, because she didn't do the interview. So and she hadn't visited. So demonstrated interest, proceeding with an interview, very important. So what to do on a college visit? It's really exciting and a lot of fun to make these college visits. As Mrs. Scaramazino mentioned, you are given 3 excused absences for college visits, junior and senior year. You would just bring back something from the admissions office that you were there. You are still absent from school, so it is an absence on your transcript, but it was listed as excused, so when you're trying to get exempt from exams, the absences will not count against you. So here are some of the things to do on a college visit. You always sign up for the group guidance meeting, then take a tour with a student tour guide. Go while the school is in session. Really, to see an empty campus, you want to get a feel for the types of kids that are there. You want to listen to conversations. I would eat in the cafeteria. They usually give you a meal ticket to go and sample the food. Go sit in on a class if they offer you that opportunity. Visit the Career Services Center. How helpful are they for you to get an internship or a summer job so that you're progressing towards what you want to pursue after college? When you graduate, you get a job. See a freshman dorm. Where do the freshmen live? Is it a suite? Is it a community style bathroom? Those were in fact important factors I know with my daughter. Visit the infirmary. Is it on campus or is it off campus? See the athletic facilities.
And we can sometimes connect you with an RBC student that is at that school. So we know students that are there, so if you really want to see the inside of the inner workings of a school, let us know, and we can probably think of students that may be there now, and we can connect you with them. They love to help students at RBC find their place.
And then send an email to thank them for the visit and the tour guide and what you liked about the school. Remember, they are keeping and filing away every time you make contact with that school. We have a financial aid evening. It is wonderful. It's led by Kimber Decker, who is very knowledgeable, has many years of experience in financial aid. He will actually walk you through the FAFSA application, so I highly recommend you attend that. It is virtual, so you can sit at home in the comforts of your home, and he will go through page by page of that FAFSA form. This year, the FAFSA was not open until December 1st. We are thinking it will open up October 1st of next year. So that's why we have our evening in September. The CSS profile is used by some private colleges. If they require it, it's usually a mid-November deadline. It is much more detailed than the FAFSA form, so it may take you more time to complete, but we did want to mention what that is. This is what the FAFSA form looks like. So we've listed that website under our websites to look into.
And it's very important. The FAFSA is free. That's what the F is for, the first letter. If somebody is charging you, you're on the wrong site.
And now I'll hand it over to Ms. Buckman, who is in charge of all our scholarships.
So there's a couple websites that we want to highlight for you guys. They're going to be listed at the end of the slide, so you can click on the links there and you can access them really easily. One that we really like is Raise Me. There's over 330 schools on there, and they're great schools. There's schools like NYU, there's Michigan, but there's smaller liberal arts schools on there as well. So there's a school that could be a good fit for everybody. And it's a great way to keep track of things that you're already doing. So if you're getting an A in your classes, if you're playing a sport, if you're in the play, if you have a part-time job, if you're doing a club, you can put in all of that information onto your profile, and it will show you a list of schools where you can earn money for doing those things that you're already doing. The average amount that students earn on there, I was just looking today, is around $5,000. So it's definitely a great thing to take a look at. Another one that we really like is Going Merry. That's one that will match you to scholarships that it thinks that you're likely to get, and you can apply to them in a big batch. So that way you're applying to maybe 5 at a time instead of having to go individually into each one and plug in all of that information. Another one that's really good is studentscholarships.org, and that's going to send you a newsletter with scholarships with upcoming deadlines. So that's another one to take a look at too. And then keep looking at your Naviance. That's where we send out the local ones, and a lot of our kids do really well on those, so definitely keep a look in your notifications there.
Okay, as long as we're talking about scholarships, I just want to harken back to dual enrollment again. Last year, we had a lot more students sign up for the honors third year level of foreign language. You guys are a little bit undersubscribed this year. The advantage of this is every college, as a general education requirement, has a semester of foreign language for you to take. If you are in a French, Latin, or Spanish honors 3 level, you're eligible for $400 to get 3 college credits in foreign language. If you take that same class at at Stockton, it's a $3,500 class. So technically, if you're only paying $400 for it and you're saving $3,100, isn't that a scholarship?
And you don't have to take the class usually. Usually that counts for the credit. So you have you leave yourself a spot open to work on another class.
Now, as far as athletic scholarships go, the NCAA Clearinghouse is no longer, they've waived the SAT, ACT requirement, so it really does come down to you having a 2.3 GPA in your academic-only subjects. Having said that, what our goal always is here at RBC is for you to become an early qualifier, to have a GPA in your academic-only subjects that is in excess of a 3.0, because that allows college coaches pretty much leeway to know they're not going to have any eligibility issues. There's $1 billion of athletic money out there every year. That sounds like a big number. Well, there's $28 billion of academic money out there every year. I've been in the athletic sector as a head coach and assistant coach for over 40 years, and I'm telling you right now, nobody gets 100% athletic money for their sport. Every full ride, every 3/4 ride, every half ride is partial academic, partial athletic, with money that's academic delegated to that sport. So make sure you're using all the motivation and the techniques that you're doing with your sport in the classroom.
So the common application is what you are going to complete, students, for applying to the majority of your colleges. The exceptions, some that I come to mind are Georgetown, Rutgers has their own application. But that common app is what you're going to establish. Students, you need to put your username. It is your email address on that common app. We have had some mistakes where parents put their email address. It has to be the student's email address. because actually you're gonna match the Common App with your Naviance program, and that is how we get to send all your documents to colleges.
The parent email thing that Mrs. Bellingham's talking about, both with the clearinghouse and with Common App and with Naviance, what a ball of confusion if there's a parent email and a student email in two different places.
Yep. So you can open that Common App as early as August 1st, and we'll show you in a minute what some of the different aspects of the Common App are. We mentioned earlier tonight that the SRAR is something new in the last 3 years. Colleges are making students submit their academic record by reporting all their grades since freshman year. It's confusing because the level of classes doesn't equal the level that they're showing. It is not an easy thing to do. It takes you another hour to do this. Why colleges are doing this? It makes it simple for their system. They just upload it into their database, and they can recalculate your GPA. They can pull out religion classes or gym classes, but if they require an SRAR, you must complete it. Rutgers requires it. Penn State has required it. And any other schools you're thinking of off the top of your head? But there are quite a few schools now that are requiring an SRAR.
Well, I'm seeing it with the southeastern schools.
Yep.
Are doing it.
So we will give you students an unofficial transcript in September, which we want you to review carefully for errors. And then parents and students, we will have a senior guidance meeting the first week of school or second week of school, and that is when you get that unofficial transcript and look it over for any errors. This is what the Common App looks like, so you know you're on the right site. Again, you are not going to open this until August 1st, but we wanted to just show you what it looks like. You will log in again, students, with your email address. That is the email address in Naviance for you. And then you will establish a password. I can't emphasize enough, students, for you to put that password in your phone. Please don't tell us that my computer remembers it, because if you have a question and want to come in our office and pull up your Common App, you need to know your password, so put it in your phone. And
August 1st is the magic date for Common App, however, because anything that you do prior to August 1st, when they do the house cleaning from the year before, your stuff can go too.
So you don't want to open it till August 1st. So here are the essay prompts. We wanted to give you these ahead of time. They don't change that much, but we really would encourage you, juniors, to write your college Common App essay this summer. So here are some of, you can see, it's a wide variety of different topics. The last one is share an essay on your choice. I mean, you can do any topic you want. What is it that the colleges are looking for in your essay? As I mentioned before, quality of writing, and what are you sharing about yourself? This is a way for you to personalize your application. Colleges have told us if you share 3 things about yourself that don't exist anywhere else in your application, that is considered a great essay. You can be clever about it, you can be humorous about it, but you do need to put some thought into it. It is only 650 words, about 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs. So again, that is something that you should consider doing this summer.
And the more competitive the school, the more likely that you're going to have supplemental essays for that school. Hey, at this point, you've invested 12 years in this process. Don't start cutting corners now.
So your supplemental essays are found under questions. Once you put the colleges in your common application, there'll be questions on the left-hand side. And those are questions that the college, that specific college, wants you to answer. So they, students, compare your answer with everybody else applying to the school. So even though if it's only maybe a paragraph, it's an important paragraph you need to consider.
And once you are done, when you have submitted those apps and finished your essays and we've sent all our stuff, you are going to exhale like you haven't done in a long, long time.
So Mr. Jarvis is right. Your senior year, the beginning of senior year is a really hectic, stressful time. We're trying to show you how to alleviate some of that stress by doing more this summer towards that. Remember, you're the consumer. Students, what is important to you? Looking at the food, what happens there on the weekends? What are the most popular activities? I often ask college reps, what are the big sports that people follow at your school? What is the largest class size? How hard is scheduling at the school? Do freshmen have any priority on getting into their classes? Are you assigned an advisor? These people are really important on a college campus. They help guide you through your getting into your major and getting the right courses. Where else did you apply? How hard is it to get home? And then the last thing I really want to emphasize is keep your graded papers from this year. I had one student come down, actually, who's applying to Princeton, and they want a junior graded paper with teacher comments on it. So this is not something you can go back and ask a teacher to do. Please save your big papers, like a research paper that you wrote in junior year. Colleges will review our school profile. Many parents will ask us, how do they know how competitive RBC is? Again, all this information is on our school profile that gives the representatives an idea of how competitive a school we are. And seniors, juniors, when you're going to schedule, which is in February, start to think about maybe leveling up to 1 or 2 honors classes.
But again, you gotta do more than just wanna. Make sure you check out those prereqs because they're not gonna let you move up if you don't satisfy a prereq.
So here are scholarship opportunities that Ms. Buckman mentioned, that Going Mary, really popular, and the Raise Me scholarships that she mentioned, which are those micro scholarships that tell you ahead of time how much money you could earn just by virtue of your grades, the activities you do, the leadership you do. So I just want to end on a note. I asked one of my seniors, what advice would they give you juniors for this college process? And there are several things they mentioned. Start early, do your essays in the summer, apply early, go make your visits this spring, maybe meet with an academic professor in your major. The colleges will set that up for you. And talk to maybe a student in the program that you want to study, because you can find out more information about that program. So that really concludes our information for juniors tonight. We are happy to answer any questions, but as we mentioned, we will be meeting with you all individually in a parent appointment. They will start in December and go through mid-February. We have a lot of students to meet. We allow an hour for these meetings. We are offering them either virtually or now parents have come in this year to meet with us. We can meet with you in the offices. So we will offer you either or, whatever works best for you and your student.
And of course, if you have any questions beforehand, you don't have to wait till that meeting. We're always there. Just call or send an email. We will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have. Does anyone have any questions now before we conclude? And if not, we really thank you for paying attention and joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
And it is on our website, the guidance website. This whole PowerPoint, you can find it under junior year.
Thank you. Good night. If you don't have any questions, we'll stay on a minute if anyone does. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We're good, I guess we can end it. Okay, good night.